Welcome to Dills Tavern. In this video, we're going to show you how life inside the tavern evolved as the area around it developed. In the 1750s, Matthew Dill owned over 500 acres of the surrounding wilderness. The first road that passed through the area was built in 1754, connecting Carlisle to Baltimore. The town of Dillsburg was still in the future. The trip from Carlisle to Baltimore is over 90 miles. It would have taken several days, so travelers would stay at taverns along the way. And one of these was Dills Tavern. But it wasn't this building. It would have been a simple log structure. The Dills spent a great deal of effort clearing land and growing the business. By 1794, Matthew's son John determined that it was time to upgrade the tavern itself and built the first part of the building that you see today. Now at first look, the sandstone blends together, creating the impression that this was all built at one time. But if you look closer, you can see where the original building ends. And we're going to enter through what is now the front door that was added in 1800. We're standing in the hallway, but you can see that this stone wall was originally the exterior 1794 structure, and that this door was how you would have entered the building then. So if this was 1794, you'd be welcomed into a much smaller space than the hallway we just came through. You'd likely be happy to find a seat in the tap room and hope that whatever was being served that day was going to be good. And you probably wouldn't waste much time ordering a drink from the bar, which was most likely hard cider or whiskey. Your meal would have been prepared in the kitchen, and if when it was time to sleep, you might make your way upstairs. But you wouldn't expect your own room or even your own bed. Now this was likely some of the better accommodations offered by taverns in the backcountry, but this is the entire upstairs at that time. On a busy night, there may have been people sleeping in the attic, tap room downstairs, wherever there was space to stretch out. Bed was not guaranteed. So as we mentioned, this part of the building is added in 1800, but not by the Dills. Leonard Eichelberger purchases the property and builds this addition for his family's private quarters, while he continues to operate the tavern. The visitor to the tavern would have pretty much the same experience before, except for the hallway providing a little more room for guests. And they most likely would have needed it, because by the turn of the century, there were more people settling in the area. In fact, the town of Dillsburg was laid out in 1804, and the Eichelbergers find that they're making more money from their distillery and other parts of their business than they are from the tavern. Through this door is the parlor, office, and master bedchamber. The master bedchamber shows off expensive furniture and bedding, but this is a very busy public space. It would be an odd combination for use of a room in a home today. But in the early 1800s, space is very much a premium, and every room is used for multiple activities. We mentioned that this addition was for the Eichelberger family, but as you've seen, they don't get it all to themselves. Master bedchamber is downstairs, the children's bedchamber is upstairs. The Eichelbergers had 10 children, though at least one of the older ones was on his own by then. We refer to this room as the ballroom. Taverns commonly had large rooms that were used for community gatherings, much like how people rent large spaces for parties today. Notice the different original paint colors on the trim. This suggests that this was two rooms that could have been used for offices for the thriving business. In 1819, another addition was built. Now you can see how it attached to the back of the 1810 addition. We're going to walk around to the back of the tavern. Here we are at the back of the tavern. Notice that this addition has separate entrances. Dining rooms were just starting to catch on in America at that time, and the homes those who could afford them. Notice the pass-through, which goes into the kitchen. Even this additional kitchen shows signs of wealth. The dark red paint is an expensive choice for a workspace. The sink was an innovation. There is a drain that allows water to be emptied from the sink without requiring someone to have to carry water and dump it outside. Today, when we hear the word innovation, it's often related to technology. But the motivation to innovate simply to improve the way something is done that affects the general quality of life. And that is one of the things that you find at Dills Tavern. You see the result of a continued desire to improve over time and through each generation. Thank you for following along with us today. We've only scratched the surface of what we could talk about here at Dills Tavern, so if you'd like to hear more, come see us in person.